Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10, it says, Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. I'll give you a crown of life. First and foremost, I to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Shemel Shai. I want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone that do rule well. Salutation to the men of the hopeful and sincere elect. There's a brother Makaza out here in Trinidad. Just want to do a quick clarification for the elect's sake, the hopeful elect. Alright, and the name of this lesson would be, will you go into the furnace or save your life? Will you go into the furnace or save your life? Alright, and basically that, going back to the inspiration of it, came from the book of Daniel, when Nebuchadnezzar made the decree to bow down to worship idols, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they decided not to bow down to worship idols. They decided not to go against Yahweh Shemel Shai. Alright, and basically they were thrown into the fiery furnace because of their resilience, their resoluteness. That is a word to look up. That is actually a character that men in the truth should have, and even sisters in the truth. The word resolute actually goes back to being like firm. Means like, hey, you stuck in your ways. All right, you have to be resolute for this truth. All right, and even like the 7 sons and their mother, and even I think it's Eliezer in Maccabees, they died. They died for the truth. They took their death. All right, they didn't surrender. They didn't relent. All right, and they took their death, as the scriptures talk about, my faithful witness. We are witnesses of Yahweh Shemel Shai. When you look up the word witness, it actually goes back to the Greek word martyr, and a martyr is somebody that dies for what they believe in. All right, and the time will come where, as the scripture said, I thank thee that the Lord sent forth the apostles last, roughly paraphrasing that, hey, we were given unto death. All right, chances are we might have to die for this truth. So now when the going gets hot, what would you do? Would you surrender? Will you say, nah, F that, save your skin? Or you take your death manfully for Yahweh Shemel Shai? And these are things that we have to constantly consider, because you can't just say, all right, cool, we had to die, all right, no problem. You do what you had to do, you pray, you do this, you do that, and then in the day of trouble, you're the concentration camp, and you all tough, you all strong enough, ready to die. I'm not saying that there aren't individuals that will be able to do that, but for the most part, it's something that you have to mentally prepare yourself for. You have to mentally prepare yourself to die for this truth. Your brain hardwired to save itself. Hence the reason you can't, suffocate yourself by just holding your breath and not breathing. All right? Your brain hardwired to save itself. So now you can't just, as I said, there might be people that might actually be able to just do it, not prep themselves, not psych themselves up onto that day. Hey, if I die, and they keep playing over the scenario, and they it's like, yeah, I do that sometimes. Think about ways that someone could die, and if I could actually take them, I watch videos, they show them Spanish in Venezuela, and they do some gruesome things to people, and I will watch those videos, and I will picture it as myself, and try to get myself acquainted with it, because hey, the chances are that we might have to die for this truth. And when the sword is at your neck, there is no going back. If when the sword to your neck and the question asks, hey, deny the Lord or die, the fear of death should not consume you. Don't let the fear of death consume you. because you will deny the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. So you have to take it there. You have to go head. You have to plunge head first into that furnace. All right, just like the son in Maccabees, he didn't even give a damn. He hold his hands out and his tongue like, hey, take these, take them. All right, you don't have to tell me to put my hands out. You don't have to tell me to put my tongue out. You know, you don't have to force me to do anything. You want me to die because I don't want to serve you, because I don't want to go against Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. All right, well then do what you have to do. All right, and that is the mindset that we have to bring ourselves to, because we cannot deny the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. He said, if you deny me, I will deny you. All right. So let's going straight to the point in Daniel. This is Daniel chapter 3 and verse 13. It says, then Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do ye not serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if you be ready at that time, if you be ready that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the sackbut, the psaltery, the dulcimer, and all kind of music, and you fall down and worship the image which I have made, well, basically, put this in modern terms. Now if you take this chip, all right, if you take this chip and do I tell it to do, then good. If you make this agreement with death and hell, good. All right. It says, but if you worship not, it says, you shall be cast the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Pause. Who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? All right. Let me jump for a second. This is I believe it's chapter 3. Let me check chapter 4. Where is it? Where is it? Just bear with me 1 second. You know what? Let me just type it in. So it was in chapter 4. All right. 1 John chapter 4 and verse 18. It says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear. Say, because fear hath torment, he that feareth is not made perfect in love. All right. It says perfect love casteth out fear. So if you haven't been made perfect in love, means that you have doubt, because it says what? Who is, verse 13, Daniel 3 and verse 15, my bad, it says, and who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? You know, them demons are going to start to be in your mind. You're going to start to doubt, because you're going to remember some sin that you did yesterday or last week, and then you're like, shit, the Lord mightn't save me. You know, should I do this or should I do that? Would the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai deliver me? And then you start doubting. That is why you can't doubt. That is why you have to do the will of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai out of a sincere heart. Do the will out of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai out of a sincere heart, and it will cast out fear, because you will be perfected in love, knowing that you have done the things that the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yahushai had required you to do. And it will be and that perfect love was what you need, because that perfect love will go and be acquired with what? With faith and with hope and perfect confidence. And you're gonna dive head first into that furnace. You're gonna say, hey, F that. You know, Father die, I'm gonna die. You know, because death is just a sting. You die now, you're gonna wake up with your Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and you're gonna come back with the Lord. All right. So really and truly, what you have to do, you have to go against your hard program of, you know, of preserving your life. All right. You have to go against that programming. Because you know that, guess what? If you deny the Lord, guess what? You're gonna be, your time in the truth would have been a waste of time. All right. Verse 16, it says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. All right. It's like they say in Jamaica, boy, go for me, run away. Like we say here in Trinidad, by the business about that now. If you had to kill me, kill me. All right. You say to their native tongue, you say what? Hey, we are not careful to answer thee, in this matter. It says, if it be so, our power, Yahweh Hashem Yahshai, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king, because the Lord's hand is not short that it cannot save. All right. It says, but if not, be it known unto thee, because the scripture says some of us are going to die. So if the Lord delivers us, well. And if the Lord don't deliver us, hey, well. Because whether we live or whether we die, we are Yahweh Hashem Yahushais, as long as you maintain your integrity. It says, but be it known unto thee, O king, that we shall not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. It says, then Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And guess what? Nebuchadnezzar, he set these men up. He gave them riches. He gave them honor and a name and a title. All right? And fame in the land of the Babylonians. And you know what these men did? The men say, you know what? F that. F that riches. F that fame. You understand? Be like Moses and count the suffering of Yahweh, greater riches. All right. It says, therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 17 times more than it wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and cast them into the burning fiery furnace. All right. It says, and these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their other garments, and they were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. It says, therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, the furnace was exceeding hot, and the flame of the fire slew those men and took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Verse 23 says, and these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Now, you didn't even hear anything about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego crying and say, know what, I changed my mind. Nah, they went. They went. They didn't even have to bound them. They could have told them walk, and they would have walked. All right. Then Nebuchadnezzar, verse 24, then Nebuchadnezzar, the king was astonished, and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselor, did we not cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? It says, they answered and said unto the king, true, O king. He answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the son of Yahweh. He said, then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. It said, the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was their hair of their head singed, neither was their coat changed, nor the spell of fire had passed on them. And there's the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, Romans 15:4. These things were written for our learning. So if the Lord could do these things, the Lord's hand is not slack that he could save. So don't relent. Don't relent. I remember I had a dream a couple years back that, they caught us, they put us in concentration camps, and it was a group of us. And they were torturing us, but they were lining us up to torture us. And what they did, they took 3 men first, and they stuck knives in their abdomen and started ripping it slowly. And while they were ripping it, they were saying, deny the Lord, denied the Lord, and 2 out of the 3 men denied the Lord. And I got so pissed. I got so pissed. And the funny thing is, you know, the brother Lamad, he was standing next to me in that dream. And me and him, when I got so pissed, I turned to him and I say, you know what, hey, F that, let me just get out of here. You know, it's like, you know, I could have walked out of the concentration camp because I was so pissed that they denied the Lord. You know, I couldn't even watch. You know, you gotta take your death. You have to take your death. If you gotta die for this truth, take your death for the Most High's sake. Yahaba Shimei Shai. Right? Verse 28, it says, Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be Yahweh Shemel Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who had sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and changed the king's word, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own power. And that is all we have to do. Be resolute, be relentless. All right? If you have to be hard-headed, be hard-headed for this truth. All right? Plunge head first into the fiery furnace. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego did it. Daniel went down in the lions den twice. Hey, Yahweh Shai did it. Yahweh Shai did it. All right? Yeah, just remember that. Yahweh Shai did it. This is Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 38. It says, Nor the just shall live by faith, but if any man draw back, my soul hath no pleasure in him. So now let's look up, you know, what it means by draw back. Hebrews 10:28, draw back.
Strong's G 5288. Hupastello.
All right, hupastello, and it means to draw back, let down, lower, to withdraw of a timid man, to withdraw oneself, i.e., or that is to be timid or to cover, to shrink. It says of those who from timidity hesitate to avow what they believe. It's like you afraid to say, hey, I believe in Yahweh Shemel Shai. You afraid to testify a savior openly because you afraid that man will kill you. You deny the Lord. All right? You saving your skin. You saving your flesh. You saving your flesh. You hiding from Yahweh Shemel Shai. You hiding to testify the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai because you afraid that they're going to put you to death. You're afraid to die for the Lord's sake. All right? And the Lord going to testify that he don't know you. The Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, he going to testify that he don't know you because you just denied him. You just denied him. All right? This is the book of Acts, chapter 21. And verse 11, it says, And when he was come unto us, he took Paul's girdle and bound his hands and feet and said, Thus said the Holy Spirit, so shall the Jews at Jerusalem bind the man that owned this girdle, and he shall deliver him into the hand of the Gentile. It says, And when he had heard, and when we had heard these things, both we and they of that place besought him not to go up to Jerusalem. Then Paul answered, What mean ye to weep and to break my heart? For I am ready not to be bound only, but also to die at Jerusalem for the name of Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right? You have to be ready, not only to be put in concentration camp, but if be so to die. That is the mindset. You have to psych yourself up. You have to psych yourself up. Paul said it. I think not Paul. James said, My beloved, do not err, my beloved brethren, do not stray. Psych yourself up. Psych yourself up. Dive head first, plunge into that fiery furnace. All right? Plunge into it. This is Philippians chapter 1 and verse 29. It says, For unto you it is given in the behalf of Mashiach, not only to believe on him, but also to suffer for his sake. 1 Timothy 3:12, it said, They that live godly shall suffer persecution. Acts 14:21, it says, confirming the souls of the apostles. All right, it says what? That we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of heaven. We're going to catch hell. And that hell, the pinnacle of that hell is dying, being tortured, being tormented for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's sake. The apostles were died. John was boiled. Just remember that. He didn't die, but he was boiled. All right? The apostles died. They knew they were beaten. They were beaten in Acts chapter 5. They were beaten for Yahushai's sake. And after being beaten, they rejoiced and went right back into the streets. They got beaten for preaching. So tell them, don't preach. They got beaten and went right out in the streets. The backs probably was still, steaming with all that licks. And they still went out and preached. That is the mindset that we have to have for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Be resolute. Be resolute. We gotta suffer for the Lord's sake. Alright? This is the final precept here. This is Matthew chapter 16 and verse 21. It says, from that time forth began Yahushua to show unto his disciples that he must go unto Jerusalem and suffer many things of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and be raised again the third day. So Yahushua knew all this, yet he went out and preached. Just remember that Yahushua had to die for us to receive this. Just remember that. So he knew that he was going to die at the end of his ministry. How much of us will continue on this road if we knew at the end of this road, or this road will lead to our death? How much of us will continue? How much of us will continue that at the day of coming in the truth, it was revealed to us by angels that, hey, at the end of this truth, you're going to die for this truth. You're going to be put to death. You're going to be cremated. You're going to be beheaded. You're going to, be stabbed to death. You're going to be stoned. How much of us will continue? All right? And be killed and be raised again the third day. So he knew he would have come back. So we're not only going to die, we're going to come back. It says, then Peter took him and began to rebuke him, saying, be it far from thee, Lord, it shall not be unto thee. It says, then he turned and said unto Peter, get thee behind me, Satan. So Satan put a spirit of fear on Peter. And when that spirit of fear comes on, you know that is the wicked one. All right? That's the wicked one. He said, thou art an offense unto me, for thou savorest not the things that be of Yahweh, but those things that be of men. It says, then said Yahushua unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. It says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it. Yeah, because you're going to save your life. You're going to say, all right, I deny the Lord. And then boom, the Lord could kill you. That's with the words in your mouth, the Lord could take you out. And guess what? You don't be no great one in the kingdom. Or when the Lord come, the Lord could zap you with the chariots. He could destroy you with the new. He could put you to a more gruesome death. Just remember that. Right? It says, for whosoever shall save his life shall lose it. And whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall find it. And we're going to find it everlasting. Just remember, plunge head first. Don't be afraid. Fear is normal. Fear is natural. Yahushua was afraid. Yahushua prayed and asked the Lord to let the cup pass from him. But you know what he realized when the Lord, you know what he did when he realized that the Lord wasn't going to take that cup from him? He said, thy will be done. Thy will be done. And from right there, he said, you know what? Hey, this is what I had to do. This is what I had to do. Just know that we signed up for this. We signed up for this. All right? So don't save your life. Dive head first into the furnace. All right? So with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. I want to give double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone and do rule well. Salutation to the men of the hopeful and saints elect. There's the beloved brother Marcus out here in Trinidad saying shalom and stay strong. Shalom.